will be presenting the significance of the global team in effective problem solving, and we choose Nestle as a company. Hi, I'm Keisha.
Hi, my name is Adriana.
I'm Zulfa.
So the things we're going to talk about today is the introduction, wicked problems, design thinking, individual differences, interdisciplinary thinking, ethical issues, past analysis, advantages and disadvantages of technology, as well as the conclusion. So I'm going to pass to Adriana to start off with introduction.
So moving on to how Nestle tackles a global sustainability challenge through its global team and how this relates to the concept of wicked problem. So Nestle overview, Nestle is the world's largest food and beverages company founded in the 1860s and officially formed in 1905. Today, it operates in over 185 countries with more than 277,000 employees from diverse backgrounds. Over the years, Nestle has evolved from launching Nescafe during the Great Depression to introducing convenience food post-World War II, focusing on health-conscious products in the 1980s. In the 2000s, Nestle embraced creating shared value, launching sustainable supply chain program like Cocoa Plan and Nescafe Plan. Next. Now, onto the core issue, the wicked problem of plastic packaging waste. A wicked problem is a complex challenge with no single clear solution, one that requires ongoing adaptation and collaboration. For Nestle, packaging is essential to protect food product quality, but is also a major contributor to global plastic pollution. They must balance safety and freshness of product, cost efficiency, and environmental sustainability. And to make it harder, recycling rules, infrastructure, and consumer habits vary across countries. Next. Nestle respond to Project Safe Malaysia. In Malaysia, Nestle launched Project Safe in 2020. It's a voluntary extended producer responsibility program aimed at plastic neutrality and a circular economy. Key actions include first, sustainable packaging using 100% recycled plastic bottles, replacing single-use plastic wraps with recyclable paper. Second, community recycling program reaching over 200,000 households and diverting 33,000 tons of waste from landfill. And third, international collaboration. For example, working with Project Stop in Indonesia to prevent ocean plastic pollution. And fourth, internal waste management, achieving zero waste to landfill in all Malaysian factories since 2017. Next. For the global example, Nestle is making similar move. In the UK, they replace quality street wrappers with recyclable paper and switch KitKat wrappers to 80% recycled plastic. This eliminates over 2 billion pieces of packaging from supply chains. These changes weren't easy. They required balancing environmental goals with product freshness, manufacturing limits, and consumer preference. Next. So why it's still wicked problem? Even with recyclable packaging, success depends on where the consumer actually recycle, local waste management system, and lastly is changing environmental regulation. This means Nestle adaptive inclusive leadership and global team that integrate local insight while staying aligned with the company's global sustainability goals. Next, I will passing to Zulfa.
Hi, I will be explaining about design thinking and individual differences. I will start with design thinking first. So in 2021, Nestle produced about 1.57 million tons of waste, and almost all of it was non-hazardous. So to tackle this, the company set a major goal, which is by 2025, at least 95% of its packaging should be recyclable, with the long-term aim of reaching 100% recyclable or reusable packaging. So to achieve achieve this, Nestle applies design thinking in its packaging strategy, which helps them create solutions that reduce waste while still being practical for consumers worldwide. Nestle applies the 5 stages of design thinking to develop sustainable packaging. First is empathize, where they understand the needs of stakeholders such as consumers, waste collectors, policymakers, and environmentalists. Next is define. Instead of saying reduce waste, they set a clear goal like creating affordable and practical eco packaging that works across different recycling systems. In the ideate stage, diverse teams from different countries brainstorm ideas because cultural norms and infrastructure vary. Prototypes comes next. For example, biodegradable wrappers, modular packaging, or even an app that rewards customers for buying eco-friendly products. Finally, tests. These prototypes are piloted in different markets, gathering feedback to refine the design before full-scale production. Next, I'm going to talk about individual differences or stable traits like cultural background, values, and income that affect how people respond to products. There are 4 major factors that shape consumers' acceptance of sustainable packaging. First is cultural background. Societies with strong recycling habits adopt changes faster. Second is environmental awareness. Eco-conscious consumers actively choose sustainable brands like Nestle. Third, income and price sensitivity. Higher income markets can accept slightly higher prices for eco-friendly packaging, but in low-income markets, affordability is the priority. Lastly, habit and convenience. People often stick to familiar packaging unless the sustainable alternative is just as convenient or easier to use. So these individual differences directly influence Nestle's design thinking process. In the empathize phase, they study local consumer values, income levels, and habits. In define phase, they set region-specific challenges rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. By doing this, Nestle creates flexible designs that meet local needs while still aiming for their global goal, which is 100% recyclable or reusable packaging. Next, I'm going to pass it on to Kyra.
Now let's look at how Nestle is applying interdisciplinary thinking, which is essential about solving problems by drawing on multiple fields or disciplines. So this means integrating diverse perspectives to address complex issues. So Nestle focuses on 3 core pillars, which are rethinking, reduce, and repurpose. So one of their push to make packaging less dependent on fossil fuels. This includes using reusable and refillable alternatives, switching to biodegradable materials, as well as simple changes like paper straws for Milo, Nescafe, and Nesquik products. Not only that, but they've also been working to strengthen circular infrastructure. So in 2023, they opened a chemical recycling facility in Mexico. They're using microwave-induced processes to turn plastic waste into pyrolysis oil. So by 2024, they also plan to upgrade recycling facilities in Los Angeles. And in Indonesia, they launched the Nestle Waste Station to encourage proper garbage disposal. Next. But despite these sustainability efforts, Nestle has faced some major ethical criticisms. For example, in the Philippines, activists protested against Nestle for its role in plastic pollution. Greenpeace reported that Nestle has been accused of greenwashing, which is when companies make misleading claims to appear more eco-friendly than they actually are. So the Break Free from Plastic movement pressured them to stop using single-use plastics. Additionally, Nestle faced a federal class action lawsuit in the US over its Pure Life bottled waters. A study found that 93% of the bottled water brands, including Nestle, were contaminated with microplastics such as nylon, polypropylene, and PET.
So now I'll be taking over past analysis. stands for Political, Economic, Technology, and Social. For political factors, it's how government policies like taxes and trade rules affect a company. Like Nestle's Project Safe follows Malaysia's roadmap towards zero single-use plastics that aims to reduce plastic use and create a healthier environment in another 5 years. While Nestle hasn't yet reached zero plastic use, but they are actively taking steps through recycling initiatives and large-scale tree planting across Malaysia to reduce carbon emissions. By achieving these environmental and sustainability goals, Nestle not only helps the planet but also strengthens its brand identity, making it stand out in the competitive global market. Next, I'll be passing to Kyra.
So now moving on, I'll be talking about the economic factors. So due to global inflation and the rising prices of raw materials, Nestle production cost has been increasing. So to manage this, the company began focusing on sustainability initiatives that can also generate economic savings. So one example would be the Design for Recycling program in Africa, where through this initiative, Nestle managed to cut 78 tons of packaging waste, reduce the need for 190 tons of virgin plastic, as well as eliminate 93 tons of material by introducing lighter infant formula spoons. These actions help reduce dependence on expensive raw materials. At the same time, Nestle is making large strategic investments to support a circular economy. It allocated 2 billion Swiss francs to food grade recycled plastics and also invested 30 million USD in the closed loop leadership fund to secure future recycled material supplies. So overall, these efforts help Nestle lower its long-term cost, comply with extended producer responsibility, also known as EPR regulations, and improve its attractiveness to ESG-focused investors. So as a result, sustainability is not only benefits the environment but also strengthens Nestle's economic position and brand value. So now I'll be passing back to Kisha.
So for the social aspect of PES focuses on public attitudes and trends. For Nestle, growing awareness of plastic pollution is pushing demand for sustainable and health-conscious packaging. However, our throwaway culture and busy lifestyles still make single-use plastics the norm, where many consumers still stick on using plastic as an option because they think it's convenient. The challenge is finding a middle ground where offering packaging that is both sustainable and convenient without excluding budget-conscious customers. As for the technology factor, is a key driver of Nestle's Malaysia sustainability goals, where the company invests heavily on the R&D to both improve product quality and reduce environmental impact, with a vision of achieving zero environmental impact by 2030 through more recyclable and advanced packaging. They're also exploring emerging technologies in digital and biotechnology fields. In Malaysia, Project Safe integrates semi-automated sorting lines and digital tracking tools to manage post-consumer waste collection efficiently and ensuring data-driven progress towards plastic neutrality and a stronger circular economy. Next, moving on to the advantages of technologies in Project Safe. Next, first, through advanced waste tracking systems, Project Safe successfully prevented over 20,000 tons of plastic from um, ending up in landfills, helping to reduce land pollution. Second, Nestle invested in semi-automatic recycling facilities, which now sort over 30 tons of materials every single day, improving efficiency and encouraging future collaborations. And the third advantages will be technology-driven packaging innovation. 89.5% of Nestle's packaging is now designed for recycling, reuse, or composting, aligning with their sustainability goals. Next, disadvantages of technology, which is legal restrictions in international market. For example, the EU prohibits food and beverage products packaged in recycled plastics, forcing the company to change packaging to meet regulations, which disrupts business operations. Secondly, rural infrastructure gaps, where some rural areas in Malaysia still lack of proper communication networks and waste infrastructure, which slows down technology-based recycling efforts and reduces the overall impact of Project SAFE, especially in isolated areas. And lastly will be low public participation in recycling. Although 88% of Malaysians know about the 3 Rs, but only 30% actually practices them, which lowers the participation, limits the effectiveness of recycling technology, and increases costs for public education, slowing down the progress of Project SAFE toward plastic neutrality. So next, the conclusion of the Project SAFE of Nestle. This program plays a huge role in promoting environmentally waste management practices in Malaysia by partnering with local authorities to raise public awareness and addresses the plastic waste problem by applying design thinking, considers diverse perspectives, interdisciplinary ideas, and past factors. By keeping track of their goals allows Nestle project to be a sustainable model in promoting recycling and its importance. Thank you.